Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 83 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. And in today's chapter, we're going to talk about what quite possibly is the most important piece of furniture in your workshop. And if you want to find out what that is, all you've got to do is stay tuned. Well, for many people in their workshop, the most important piece of equipment that they have is their workbench. Now, if you've been watching lots of YouTube woodworking videos, you'll notice that my workbench is nothing like those. And the reason it is not like the others is because of the work I do. So I have what I would call a multi-activity shop. My goal is to do all kinds of things in here. This table has seen sheet metal work, welding, inlay, marbling, you name it, it's done it. So I need something that is a little different than the traditional woodworking bench. The other problem I face in this shop is space. While I have a nice spacious shop, I have a lot of stuff in it. You almost feel like you should be going to like the Tool Users Anonymous group, and I should say something like, "Hi, my name is Glenn. I have 10 lathes." You know, that level of tooling that I have in here makes this nice space very full. So I tend to treat it like a small shop. And small shop technology has helped me do some things that normally I maybe would not have thought of doing. And one of those things is my workbench. Okay, a couple of things it's not. It's not a perfectly flat surface like many people want to have. It's just not. Okay, this top is laminated pine that we had left over from cutting 2x6s into 2x4s, and we had buckets of it, so I took some of it and made a countertop, and I've done that with other countertop in here as well. So that's the first issue. It's covered with epoxy. Now, again, for a traditional workbench, probably not the best way to finish it. And I was even very unsure about that when I went down that rabbit hole, but it's worked out, it's worked out really well. So, sometimes you take a chance and it pays off. But because I do so many different things, and I didn't just want this to be occupying, boy, this has got to be, 5x5 or so, 25 square feet, roughly. I needed to use that space underneath it as well. So I decided many years ago that I wanted to have a mechanic style tool chest. I don't know, I just thought those were cool. I wanted one. But then I realized, even in the drawing stage, when I was planning this shop, that I would never have room for that piece of technology. So what I decided to do after looking around, and I spent years looking and doing this because my shop wasn't even built at the time yet. This was all just in there. I realized that I needed the bench style toolboxes. So fortunately for me, one Black Friday in 2016, I happened to be at Home Depot and they were unpacking these 46-inch tool chests that they have. They still sell them. And I pulled, well, I'm from out of town and I don't get in the city that much. Yeah, sometimes I do that. And they sold two to me before the sale actually started, but they gave them to me at sale price, which was amazing. I got two of these 46, they're 18 inches deep. They have, 6 regular sized drawers, like for, say, wrenches and sockets, 2 deep drawers, and 1 long drawer. And yeah, they're a mess, and that we're going to talk about. I have 2 of these, and It's amazing. I had always planned on putting them back to back and putting a countertop on top, and away we went. So I was really impressed with these, and I think I paid with taxes in $250 each. I mean, they're way more expensive than that now, even on sale. So, well, it's almost 10 years ago, I guess, but hey. So what I like about them is they're clean, they're functional. They have really nice heavy duty casters on the bottom. I don't think you can see that. Um, they are wonderful. They were all that I dreamed of. Now, one of the problems that I have in here, and this is an issue. Uh, it's an issue and not an issue. So these things, now they came with, sorry, I'm cutting myself off here. They came with these tops on them. And these are really nice. They're a little thin, and I mean, they wouldn't take a lot of beating and hammering. But if I was using these as countertop in my garage, they'd be awesome. So I took them off. I attached this 1.75 inch pine top. And with the casters on, this is about 38 inches tall. Yeah, give or take a 16. The problem with that is this. My table saws are only 35 inches tall. Now, it would have been nice to be able to have your bench low enough so that you can slide things over and it acts as outfeed support as well. But one of the things that I did, I set up my table saw so from behind the blade, yeah, right about there, to here is 8 feet. And this shop is set up around that 8-foot measurement, okay? So it is a problem when it comes to being able to slide things over from another tool. However, it is awesome to work at. When I work on here, my back is straight. I'm not hunched over. Every once in a while, yeah, and it's getting more frequent, I have to say, and that's okay. I help Sheila in the kitchen a little bit. And I couldn't work in her kitchen. I couldn't. No wonder her back is always sore because you're always bent over. You're always bent. And I don't know, whoever designed kitchen height, that wasn't for normal people. Anyway, moving right along. These tool chests themselves are 46 inches long, 18 inches wide, and I have two of them, so I would have had 36 inches under here. But by a twist of fate, I ended up with a machining and welding area, which was never in the plans for this shop when I drew it up. So what I did is I welded some brackets together and made, it's not quite a foot wide, but basically I welded there are two sides and then 4 cross pieces, and I welded that all together. And then a former student of mine, and I consider a good friend, um, works at a sheet metal place and bent up some channels for me, troughs basically, that sit on those horizontal pieces and provide a nice area to store my shorts of different steel that I keep. Steel is expensive now, so I don't throw things away till I know I'm completely done. And I see a couple of scroll saw stands in my future yet, so I'll build those. Anyway, so that worked out really well. So the total base now with that, we're looking at about 47 inches. So that has worked out really, really well. Now, I don't have bench dogs or any way to accommodate them. I think that's something I could add yet if I wanted to. But for right now, with teaching my students, and yes, yesterday and the day before, I had 8 students in here. I had my 6 lathes running with one group. It's awesome, a lot of fun. But they need a flat surface and a vise to work. So I have 4 student vices here. Yeah, these are used. They're not the highest quality, but they hold something in place. So for the teaching I do, they're good enough right now. Maybe someday when my YouTube channel takes off, I'll laugh at that. I'll have money to replace all this stuff. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It isn't traditional, but it meets my needs, and that's what's important. When you're working on a workbench or a piece of furniture for you in your shop, it has to meet your needs. It has to come in at the right price point. It has to allow you to do the work you want to do, and it should be something that you can clean up fairly easily. Now, I left this messed up on purpose today because to prove the point that I do everything here. Like, this is my central workspace in the shop. So I edit video here. I plan future projects here. My drills are here. My biscuits for my biscuit joiner are here. My sandpaper's here. It's all out here. And on Saturday afternoons at 3 o'clock, we have coffee here. So it's very much a multi-purpose table. And for me, with the space I have and the work I do, a traditional woodworking bench, although I envy those who have them, and I watch some YouTube channels that I don't understand how their shop is always so clean, because with me being the sole producer of my YouTube channel and teaching 2 days a week, and really that's three because I got to prepare for a day, I don't understand how their shops are always so clean and they put out the quality of video that they do. Sometimes I question if they actually work. But anyway, uh, your workbench needs to suit you. So make sure that when you're setting up your shop, it does. Now, what are the next steps for what I'm going to do here? Well, the next steps are I've been working on the organization by putting this together, putting steel storage here. I'm not going to move the camera around, but I have a small vacuum cleaner with magnets and zip ties on the end here for when I do inlay. I can use a vacuum cleaner to suck things up when I'm routing, which helps. So I've started on this, but there is another phase that I need to move into, and that's what we're going to close off this video with. Uh, okay, you may not be able to see this, but most of my drawers look something like this. They're a mess. When I moved in here, I had to move in kind of quickly, so I just threw everything in here, and it's not organized. And I always thought, okay, when I retire and I have time, then I'm going to organize it all. Okay, I retired and I have no time. So I'm still doing this kind of on the fly. So I took one drawer and I cleaned it out. And one of the things that I like for organizing drawers are these foam inserts that you can get. You basically lay your tools on there, you draw a line around them, and you carefully cut that out and you set your wrenches or your sockets or whatever in that foam. And they look really good. And I think they're a really good way to keep track of your tools because it's like a shadow panel. If you've got a wrench missing, you can see it right away. If I've got a socket missing here, I have no idea. So that's something that's really important. I want to try to slowly get more organized here. And this is another thing. Now, unfortunately, I kind of have two major projects on the go at the same time. I still need to work more on my table saw. You saw me put my big router into one of the side extensions on the table saw a few videos ago. And now I'm starting on this as well. Well, it's because of what I can do and the content I can put out. So this is something that I can do now, so I'm gonna start doing it. So anyway, getting back to the ones you can buy. So I went to Amazon and I looked at those foam things, and yeah, they're nice and thick and contrasting colors. They look really good, but they're basically work out to about $25 a drawer for me. Well, I don't. It's not that important to me to spend that much money. So if I would do all these drawers, I'm looking at hundreds of dollars to do that. So I started thinking about how this was. And first of all, with those thick inserts, there's one thing I don't like about them is that they you have to cut the edge in, and then you got to kind of dig out the middle. Well, to me, that's not nice. I'd like a flat bottom. Like if you could take a router and make it flat, that'd be great. But I don't know if that's possible. I haven't seen that. I think I could figure out a way to do it if I was going that way, but I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to show you too much about what I'm going to do today because that might be, I might show you that a little bit more, maybe the weekend edition, maybe next year. Who knows when I'll get to it. But I have a different thing in mind. My way of doing this is going to cost me between $3 and $4 a drawer, and it's commonly available materials. So you'll, and the way it goes together, I like it because I get a nice flat bottom on all my cavities. So I'll show you that. I might cut one wrench in on the weekend edition and show you kind of where I'm going. And then maybe later on, I'll show you a done drawer. Again, I'm getting kind of busy, and Christmas is coming, and the Woodworkers Guild is doing some things. So I'm hoping I'm going to get to it fairly quickly because I would like to get these drawers done. But what it's going to force me to do, which is a good thing, is to separate my tools. Like I've got so much stuff, and some of it I've had since I was 20 years old. And I've got partial sets, and some of it's just junk. And I need to get it out of here. If I want to get rid of it, then give it to maybe some of my students so they can get started. Or maybe I just wrap it up and put it someplace else and let the executor deal with it when my time here is up. Okay, we're not going to go there. But anyway, uh, that's that's my video this week. That's all I've got for you. I think the workbench is a very, very important piece in your workshop and something you need to think about. But again, make sure that it works for you, like you can afford it. You can work at it. It does most of what you need to do because everything's a series of compromises here. So if you can do a full-on, full-blown workbench, uh, by all means, do it. They must be lovely to work at. I've never actually worked at one. So that looks really good, and you can make awesome YouTube videos. But if you live in the real world and your shop is multi-purpose, maybe your bench has to roll in and out every day. In fact, maybe it can't be flat like this at all. Maybe it's got to fold up to slide in along your wall so your wife can get her car in. There are all kinds of different shop scenarios that you can run into with this. And all I showed you today is what I did. This works for me. This meets all my needs. I didn't expect to be machining and all that stuff, but it works. So that's all I have for you today. So on that note, everybody, it's Thursday today already. I knew this would be late this week. The weekend edition will probably come out Saturday if things go well. And yeah, that's about all there's to it. So happy workbench making. Remember to please like and subscribe and share this video with others. If you have friends, share it with them. Okay, that's all I got today. So we will see you on the next one.